G'day, it's Sean here from the Sierra Adventure. Today I just wanted to play a few minutes of the first Sierra game I ever played, Heroes Quest. Probably better known as Quest for Glory, but in my heart it's always going to be Heroes Quest, this particular game. As I said, it's the first one I ever played. This and Thexter are the two games that I originally played. Probably the first PC games I actually played, if I think about it. And it set me on a path that led me to a lot of Sierra games and a lot of other role-playing games, adventure games, that sort of thing. But this is one of my absolute favourite games, and I thought it'd be a good one to make a video about. And for all the DOS heads out there, it is an amazing thing to type Sierra into a DOS interface, even though I'm using DOSBox. Just, how many times have I done that in my life? Now, I'll just say that I am emulating the sound through MUD, so it's an MT32 sound, or pretty close to it. You'll hear the occasional Windows ding in the background. What that ding is it's telling me that there's a message that's changed. See, the MT32 was a great piece of technology, and it had the a little LCD display that could show short messages. And usually it was just the name of the game, but Sierra put some pretty cool jokes in there as well. Now, let's just start with the introduction. We won't watch it all. I'm not going to play all the game. I love this. I love this introduction. And this fanfare. If you notice in that, the Hero's Quest has those flames moving, but while the hero was running across the screen chasing the enemy, and there, it stopped animating, and that's because they ran out of memory in the old computers, and they couldn't run the two animations at once. Now that fanfare, that original fanfare, I'll have a crack at a magic user today. It's not really going to matter, we're not going to do an awful lot, but I just wanted to have a quick look. So I'll just add some skills here. I always like to add, I think it is vitality that gives you both. Yes, so it gives you health and stamina. And obviously as a magic user, and I like to play a pure magic user, I give myself a fair bit because it increases your health and stamina, which is really important at this point of the game. I don't add any more to those. Intelligence is a good one because that increases your magic points at the bottom there, as you see they're going up. Probably give myself a bit more agility as well. Actually, no, a bit more strength, help me carry stuff. Start game. So as I was saying, with that fanfare at the beginning, there's a great story in the book from Chance Thomas, who was the composer on Quest for Glory 5, Dragonfire, and amazing composer, and did some really great work. But he when he composed the theme song, he sent it out to some fans. It was the very early days of the internet. He sent it out to some fans who came back really angry. You haven't used the fanfare, Mark Siebert's fanfare from the original game. It's used in all the games, and you haven't used it. And Chance went back and added a little his interpretation of that particular fanfare. It's quite good talking to Chance about that when I interviewed him for the book, because it's a really strong memory with him, and it's honestly his work in Quest for Glory 5 is amazing. But for this particular game, it's completely composed by Mark Siebert, all the music. And Mark was the main musician. He was the only musician for a while, and he was the main musician and in charge of that department at Sierra, and he composed this entire game as well as many, many others. And there's so much great music in this game. I particularly love the look of the town, and this is what I prefer over the VGA version. There's a lot of in Sierra fandom, there's a lot of VGA, EGA, which one do you prefer? You know, you can draw your battle lines type thing. I love the EGA version. I'll plant my flag on that hill because there is something amazing about the colours in this game. I don't know why. You know, there's pinks and purples and greens and a really terrible orange really at the top there. But it all works. It's so well drawn. All the graphics in this game are just so well drawn. I'll just increase our speed a bit. And I particularly love the magic shop, the eye that follows you, and the grandmother, or the old lady, I should say. It's such an amazing game. This is really a great game, and it's so atmospheric. From the moment you enter this village, it's atmospheric. There's people to talk to and deep, deep conversations, which is something that Sierra hadn't done to that point. That Laurie Cole, who wrote the script for this game, designed the game, she really put a lot of that in there. And between her and Corey, her husband, they really added a level to Sierra games that I don't believe was there before, and it's a real mark of innovation. There's also innovation in this, and this is one of the early RPGs. And as I say in my book, it's commonly thought of as the first RPG from Sierra. It wasn't. There were a couple before that. There was Ultima 2, which Sierra published, and another one as well, so the Wrath of Denethor. But they were Apple II games. This is the first one using these sort of EGA 16 color, you know, this familiar style that we recognize. Do I wish some vegetables? Ask for a date. Perhaps next year. She's a bit young for you, hero. Love this fanfare. Amazing. What I like about that, and it's a very little thing in a game, but most people wouldn't notice it, but as a game developer myself, I do notice this. What they've done is they've set the scene inside the town, and then you walk outside of the town, and that fanfare the first time, and that little message that says, "You've now entered the forest, you've entered the wild." It feels there's a chill in the air. You can't wait to get adventuring. It really sets the tone for this game, and it is just above exceptional. It's just exceptional writing. It is really well plotted, and that's a testament to the Coles who wrote this game, that they knew what they were doing. They know story, they know role playing. So it's honestly, you can hear me talk about this game, and I love it. I absolutely love it. The other really cool thing, and I'll just go to a normal forest screen actually. Here's a little bit of trivia from my own playing of this game growing up. I didn't realise for many years that you could go off to the right of this screen here to get into the forest. Always walked around. That little memory hiccup where it just pauses ever so slightly when an enemy is about to enter the screen. Also, something else unique in this game is the fact that as you walk into a screen, the character will keep walking. And that didn't happen in many Sierra games, from screen to screen like that. Because, well, what's actually really unique is that he will stop on certain screens. So if he walks into Arana's Peace, the very top of the map there, he will stop. And I think that's really cool. And obviously there's running and sneaking. I shouldn't be able to sneak in this because I don't have stealth, so stealthy is the average game. I love that line. So this forest screen, the reason I stopped here is this is really fascinating because there's really only 4 forest screens like this in the game. And what they do within the engine, and this is all about saving space, and this is the innovation of Sierra that I really concentrate a lot in the book because it's fascinating. It's a microcosm really of gaming. What they do here to save memory is they've only got the 4 backgrounds and they flip them, so that gives you 8. And then they add objects to the 4 directions, north, east, south, west, that will block the hero's travel. So it is the same screen, but it just blocks travel. So we'll actually be able to see that here. Hold on, go a bit bit faster. Okay, so this is a unique screen because it's got the snow on it, of course. So I'll just go back a screen. So this one, for example, that's a there's only one of those, and then they flip it the other way. So that's another unique one. That's not one of the four that I'm talking about. But here's an example. If you look at the left here, there's sort of rocks behind there. That's just superimposed onto the background, and then they remove a bit of a walkable area so that you can't walk there. It's so simple, really, but it's brilliant. It's amazingly brilliant. Oh, there's a more visible example there. You can see to the left there. And this one here, you can see they've done it to the south with the foreground element at the bottom there and the rocks to the top. So we go here, this would be Erasmus Mountain. Now I love this screen. Now I said earlier that I love the EGA version. The only screen that I think is better in the VGA is Erasmus. I love all of the others less. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a great game, but I love that more in the VGA. So there's an example again. Same screen, north and south. Oh, run. Run away, hero, run away. Is this a runner's piece now? Yes, it is. This is probably my favourite piece of music in the game. Or maybe my second favourite. I have a lot of trouble deciding on favourites in this game. Here, you got some points. And even if you're running, you walk into a runner's piece and you leave. And of course, there's the day-night cycle in this game as well, which is really, really awesome. And you can also complete the quests in any order. It really is an innovative game. It really is an amazing game. I'm just running out of superlatives for this game because I really do love it so much. Ah, the brigands. That brigand, leave me alone. Run away from him. Oh, he cut through the trees then. I don't know if that's a bug or not. I should be back at the centaur. Though I can just walk around this whole forest. There's Valley of Spielberg. I can walk around it all day. Its path screens are unique in the engine though. And of course, there's the vector-based graphics. So this isn't actually drawn as a bitmap as we would do nowadays. This is all drawn. Basically, they just plot it in the engine. They go, this coordinate and this coordinate, draw a line in this color. And then once you've filled a space, once you've drawn say a box, they go fill that box with this color out to the lines that are drawn. So that's how they drew all of these. And that's how it's done in the programming anyway. They actually plotted it out on this massive plotter type machine after they'd drawn them, but it's amazing. So the other cool thing about this game was originally, and we talked about this again in the book a bit, that the original plan was to have 4 different races, not just 3 classes, but 4 different races. So there was a thief-like gnome, there was a magic-wielding elf, there was a centaur, who was an archer, I think, and there was a human jack of all trades. And this character that we've got now is the human. And when they came down, and Garuka Singh Kasala, he is the producer on this game, one of Sierra's great producers. And his role was to really take all of these brilliant creative ideas that the Coles came up with for this game and work it into the system that it would be able to work. And they would be able to make it, they'd be able to make it on time, on budget, and get it out there and sell copies. So he rightly, I guess, at the time said, look, how about just different classes? That way we use the same character sprites, and that saves, so much animation. So each character, so the hero here has, I believe it's 8 frames. If you think of like cartoon animation, there's 8 frames in each direction. So 32 frames of animation compared to if you multiplied that by 4. So, and then each character has unique animations. He might bend over, he throws his dagger sometimes, all of that sort of stuff. And it multiplied everything by 4. So it really did bring it all back down into a short thing. The other cool story from Garuka about this game is that it was under threat of being cancelled at one point, and it took. Oh, I ran into the brigand. The brigand must have been over there near Henry the Hermit's getting a drink. No way I can take that guy. So, so yeah, it was under threat of being cancelled at one point, but Garuka went in to bat for it, particularly. But the real clinching moment was Ken Williams, Ken and Roberta's son, had played the game and really loved it. So that's the story that I've got from a couple of places, and again, that's chronicled in the book. So I love that scene. I love the waterfall. It's a great little video. So there's a great little animation, I should say. And let's just talk to the Dryad, and then we might call it quits there. I love that stag. It looks really nice. I should say as well that obviously the game had gone through the name change to Quest for Glory, and we're all aware that, well, fans are generally aware that it was because of the Milton Bradley board game of Hero Quest. Now, there's a lot of different ways that story is played out over the internet. Fans have their particular take on it. Sierra was sued, or those sorts of things. But I actually got the real story from John Williams, the marketing manager of Sierra, who was there, employee number 3, I think he was, something like that. So, he knows the story, and he explains it all in the book and why they did end up changing the name. So that's a pretty cool little story. I love this animation of her coming out. Are you one with the woods? Yes. I shall aid you in your quest. Bring me the seed. Now, what I particularly like about this is a really funny little comment. When you actually give her the seed, there's that really funny little comment, I'll plant this seed and it will grow where no seed has grown before. Obviously a pun from Star Trek pun. There's a lot of puns in this game. There's a lot of humour. And Corey Cole is a very funny man. A lot of puns, He's a punster, so there's a lot of puns in this game. But Corey did tell me when I was talking to him for the book, he said the puns were actually started by Robert Fishback, who was one of the programmers on the game, and actually taught Corey how to use the SCI, Sierra Creative Interpreter engine, I guess you would call it, tool set, and taught Corey how to do that. Because Corey, of course, is a programmer and knows the good low-level coding and that sort of stuff. But, the specific tool set for these games, that's something that Robert taught Corey. And Robert put in that first pun, something about a tree or a rock or something, and Corey thought it was funny, and they went with it because while they wanted a serious game, this does have more cartoony graphics. So they thought, well, the cartoony graphics and the humour does add to the game. And it does. Now, I've said this probably 100 times in this short video, but I love this game. And after I've finished recording this video, I will probably play it a bit. So look, thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this game and give you a few anecdotes from the book. Hopefully that's a bit of a teaser about this particular game. Now the book will be available for sale, and you can see the links just down on the left hand side there of where to get information about that. Look, I really had a great time writing the book and talking to people like the Coles and Mark Siebert, who was a composer, and others who worked on this game, and all the other Hero games. So there is so much information in this game that hopefully, as I said, this has been a bit of a teaser for you and you've enjoyed it. So thank you for listening, and hope to see you again soon. And let's go to my favourite quit message. How about a slice of quiche? See you later.